Welcome back with Rum Brothers, with three brothers with ties from the 90s. And we got two things going on here today. Thomas, what we got going on?
Today is the Battle of the Bottled and Bond Whiskey. So what is Bottled and Bond, do you ask?
What is it?
Well, I'll tell you. The Bottled and Bond Act, late 1800s. But that was the first U.S. government regulation of a product. Like, this was before the FDA, before anything. The first thing they regulated was whiskey because people were putting all sorts of nasty crap in whiskey, like tobacco juice and stuff for coloring, and there was no consistency, there was no checks and balances. So the Bottled and Bond Act came about, and this is what it said. Made in the US, the liquor must be the product of one distillation season, which is either January to June or July to December. One distillery by one master distiller. It must have been aged in a federally bonded warehouse under U.S. government supervision for at least 4 years. And it must be bottled at 100 proof or 50% alcohol. And on the label it must say where it was distilled if it was different from where it was bottled. And that's one of my favorite things about American whiskey is you can look at that bottle and depending on what it says, you know what's going on. It's pretty cool. So we got two storied U.S. brands here. We got Henry McKenna and George Dickel. We'll start with the Henry McKenna. This one has shot through the roof in popularity the last couple of years. Henry McKenna was an Irish immigrant, and what he did is he was a distiller in Ireland, and when he came to America, he was like, hey, the grains here are different, but I'm gonna distill this like I distill my Irish whiskey. So it's got a unique taste. And it is also, in addition to being bottled in bond and being 10 years old, it is a single barrel whiskey. And what is a single barrel whiskey? It means everything in that bottle came from one barrel. It has not been blended at all. There definitely is consistency, but no bottle is the same. All right, let's drink. Okay, Henry McKenna, 10 year, single barrel, bottled and bond.
Smells like whiskey.
I was about to say.
I mean, it's good. Nothing is jumping out to me that makes it seem distinct at this moment.
What's
and it is bourbon.
Okay, it is. Okay, that's what I was going to ask.
It is a bourbon. So remember, bourbon means 51% corn at least.
It's 100 proof. It is singeing the nose hairs a little bit, but
yeah, and
I'm excited for the taste. You know, usually it's all in the taste for me anyway. So.
Yeah, you get the corn sweetness, typical bourbon notes. All right, let's give it a taste. Cheers to Kentucky. Wow.
Sweet and spicy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That packs a punch. It's almost like pop rocks going off of my mouth. It's just like the, all the way from the front to the back.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. I'm going to do a little splashy poo. I'm not going to do a whole cap thing.
Does the water open it up for you?
Oh, yeah.
Great. Well, let's move on to our next whiskey. George Dickel, which, as you know, comes from Tennessee. So it is a Tennessee whiskey. It is basically a bourbon, but like Jack Daniel's, it is, that typical charcoal filter you get out of that. So there's a specific taste. It is 13 years old. This is not the batch that won the award, but it is still highly praised.
A little more earthy, this one. A little like a deeper, like the sweetness is mellowed. I feel like the barrel's more on this one.
Yeah, and it's technically a bourbon, but they won't,
It's not legally a bourbon.
It's not legally a bourbon, but it like meets all the marks of bourbon in terms of mash bill. It's less corn forward, I would say.
Yeah.
You can smell the barrel notes.
Let's try a taste of
Cheers to Tennessee.
That's definitely different.
Wow, that's very different.
It's smoother at the beginning. It's not as fiery, not as spicy.
Oh, yeah.
The barrel does mellow this one out a little bit.
Yeah, I think those extra 3 years helps. You do get those typical Tennessee notes in a great way.
Yeah.
They kind of mellow out the corn sweetness.
Yeah, I'm trying to put my finger on like what exactly like the biggest like flavor difference would be.
I think it's the barrel. It's like the barrel spice and then the sweetness of the Tennessee whiskey. And it's just the mouthfeel too. It's a slightly heavier mouthfeel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say between the two, I definitely prefer the George Dickel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know what? I think so too. So let's
I would
talk.
say so, yeah.
Let's talk price point.
Okay.
George Dickel bottled and bond is a little hard to find, but luckily the price typically stays between like high 40s, sometimes goes up to 80, but it's usually between 40 and 50. It's just because it won the awards.
Oh, okay.
And it's a limited release, so like I saw it in the store for $80. I was like, no way am I paying for it. Henry McKenna, on the other hand, recently has jumped through the roof. MSRP is $40. Nowadays, like within the past few weeks when I've seen it, it's 80 plus. I've seen it for $125 in some stores. Honestly, I do not think it is worth that much money.
No.
I would say it may not even be worth $40.
No. Yeah.
I would say that's like a solid $30 bottle of whiskey.
I mean, if you like that just rush of fire through your system that that whiskey can give you, and, and that's valid. You know, you like what you like.
In the MSRP world, like this whiskey is $10 more than that, and I think that's worth the extra $10.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But nowadays, this whiskey is $30 more than this whiskey. So if you're choosing between the two, I would say go with the George Dickel Bottled and Bond.
Yeah.
If you're looking for that aged American whiskey in the Bottled and Bond world.
I do like how it's like uniquely American style.
Yeah, and with the American laws coming down on it. Bottled and Bond, only in America. Well, thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, if you want to come back and see some more goofy videos by us goofy brothers.
Wait, no, we're professionals.
We are professionals, you bet. Frank, take us out.
Join us at our next video, won't you?